All right, we're going to talk about this idea for pulpit lift for the LDS Church for replacing or updating the Gifford lift. So we'll see the lectern up here and the neck here. This is the top of the cabinet, and this is the lift box down inside. This is the bishop's control panel. So what I've done here is I've removed all of the guts, if you want to put it that way, of the Gifford lift. And I'm going to show you how I mounted a different lift inside. Okay, so we removed the electrical off of the front of the lift, the limit switches from above and below. We removed the little angle that touches the limit switches, removed all that stuff. And then we took the front plate off. Now you don't have to take that off if you can't get to it all. And then we removed the motor and the jack screw. All right, now what I've done is on a Gifford lift you have another box. It has starter contactors in it. We've eliminated that because that's attached to this metal box that used to be here. All right, I'll insert some pictures that show all the parts of the Gifford lift. All right, and then I've added on this set of relays for interfacing with the bishop's control panel. When you press the bishop's control panel button, a light lights up on the relay for the direction that you're going to go. Okay, there's also manual override on each relay, this little orange lever. If you flip it out with your finger, get your fingernail in there and lift up on it, the lift runs. Let go, it shuts off. If you lift it all the way out, it'll stay there, so you got to be careful of that. All right, other way, lift it out. Okay, it's quiet. All right, so this cable is a Cat 5 cable, and it runs up behind the control box, so it's secure, so it can't come up missing, and it plugs into the control box. It doesn't matter if it's in A1 or A2. This is the motor cable. Again, it runs down behind the box. It's plugged into one only. There is a motor port down here too, but do not use that or these two. So this motor cable comes down here and plugs in to the lift cable. Okay, this is the power cord right here, power cord, and it runs up under the control box and it loops around behind the control box and comes back down here and goes to an outlet. So once this control box is screwed on to the lift box, then all cables are secure and can't come up missing. Okay? This door needs to stay in place. You can take it off for working on it, obviously, but you should not leave it off. it has appropriate warnings for whoever's working on the lift. All right. To fasten the door and the relay bracket down to the lift, I have screws, standard 1/4-20 screws, but I've installed nut inserts for wood for the screws. Okay, and there's 2 on this one. All right. Oops, tighten that up too tight. There we go. There we go. All right. Now, how did I attach this? This is the lifting actuator right here. And it's a 3-stage. There's 3 stages. There's a base, a middle, and an upper stage. I don't know if you can see that with the shadows here. Okay. I've attached a scrap board to the bottom of this lift with 4 M6 by 20 flathead sockethead screws, actually 25s, M6 by 25 flathead socket cap screws. So this board has 4 screws coming up through the bottom. Now this board is attached to the original Gifford lift base with 4 cabinet screws. I use GRK screws because I like the Torx head, and they're a good screw. Alright, I left the guide rods in place here and here, but I adjusted them out here so the guide rod isn't snug or tight. Just guiding, alright? Your lectern is screwed on, and you can have screws here on the sides of the neck to remove the lectern. Okay, so we're going to take that lectern off just 1 second. So the back side of your lectern, you've got to have a board for the screws to grab into here and here. And this is your slot for your microphone wire. Okay. I'm going to lower this so I can show you how I attach the neck. 1 second. So I've removed the lectern. So now this is going to be your original board that's at the top of the neck. It does not have to be there, but it is. So there's an access hole. If you look down inside, you can see the 4 screws that are holding the neck to the top of the lift. Now that board is down, I don't know, 4 inches, whatever it needs to be for your application. So from this board down here to the underside of this board, I have cut wood spacers right here and glued them in to the neck. So this wood spacer sets the distance between here and the underside of this board, and then this wood spacer, or this board here, which is the top of the lift, is attached to this wood spacer with screws from underneath. All right. So on the outside, we go down so far, and then we have the board with the big hole that's already existing in your neck, and then we have some wooden spacers to adjust the height depending on your installation, and then we have another board which is attached to the top of the lifting actuator. Hope all that makes sense. Okay, so here I've taken the neck out. It's sitting upside down. So I've taken the neck out so you can see inside. This is the lift. This is your bolting pattern here. Your guide rods are still in place. It's bolted down. inside the neck. This board here is what is attached to the top, and you can see I've got 4 GRK screws holding this board to the spacers. I'll take this out and I'll show you. So here I've removed that inner plate, so you can see the 4 spacers all around that adjust the actual height of the lectern. And the other side of this obviously has got 4 countersunk holes. Alright, I've reassembled the lift here. So I'm going to run it up so I can fit a scale in here. So I've got this up here. I've got a scale. So now I'm going to run it down until it hits the object, the scale. And when it hits that object, it's automatically going to move back up. So here we go. Down. See, it automatically moved back up about 2 inches. Run it down. Automatically runs back up. The same thing happens in the up direction. If it runs into an obstacle going up, it'll automatically move back down. And you can see that in that, if you rewind, the scale hits about 12 pounds as the pinch force. Now, when this is all the way down, you should have 3 inches of clearance here. Three inches. You can program the stroke of this lift just like lifts previous. There's a desk panel right here that ships with the lift. There's up, down, and if you press S and 1, press S, hold it, press 1, hold it, let go, that stores the upper limit. So you would take this guy and plug it into the empty hole. It doesn't matter, A1 or A2. Doing this one-handed is a little difficult. Oops, wrong way. So once it's plugged in, then this guy can run the lift up and down. And then if you set it to the height you want, like let's say your stain line on your neck stops right there, and it could actually go farther, but we want it to stop there, then you have to press the S and hold it, and press the 1 and let go, and now there's a new height stored. If I press the number 1 button, it stops at that height. It could go farther if I press the up button. If I press number 1 again, it's going to go down to that height. The Bishop's control panel up button is the same as the number 1 button. Once it's stored in this control box, then everything that makes it go up will make it stop at that stored position. So you need one of these in your truck if you're an installer. Okay, so that's the idea for replacing essentially all the mechanical parts of the Gifford lift and keeping all the wood parts. Thank you.